welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today I wanted to go over the two new eyeshadow palettes from Surratt. So Surratt has released two new palettes that they are calling ETOILES, which means Starr. And in this case, what they've done is they've taken some of their halogram shadows and some regular shadows, and they've created these gorgeous palettes. So they have two of them. Now, I did not purchase the actual palettes because I actually had all of the colors except for one already. So I kind of wanted to show you what they look like. So this is what the first palette looks like. This one is Cosmos. And in here we have the halograms are Celestial, which is gold. And then we have Cosmos, which is pink. Then these two are going to be from the regular line. This is Chocolat Noir and Starr. So we're going to go ahead and look at these. We'll do swatches of these, and then I have this eye look and then another eye look that I did with this one because, you know, the other eye look, it didn't turn out very nicely. I didn't like it, but it will show you how these shadows perform. So I am including it in here so that you can see how they perform and, you know, basically how much emphasis you can get from them. Now, the other quad they came out with is called Supernova. Now, the only shadow I was missing is Noir, Le Plus Noir, I think it is, which is like black is more than black or something like that, or blacker than black. Anyway, I didn't have that particular shade, but I do have Black Matter, or Dark Matter from Surratt, which is essentially the same shade. I think this formula is slightly different. I think it might be a little bit creamier, but you know, it's a black shadow. So I wanted to show you what this looks like. Now in here we have, again, more halogram shadows. This time we actually have three. So we have Nebula, which is the blue. We have Interstellar, which is a silver. And then we have Supernova, which is this beautiful deep green, which is exclusive to the Surratt website. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention about these, and I will have a cost breakdown down below in the description box, but the halogram shadows do cost a little bit more than the regular eyeshadows from Surratt. Like a typical eyeshadow is $22, and then the halograms are a little bit more expensive. I don't remember off the top of my head. Now, both of these palettes do have a discounted price as well. So I will have a comparison of what you would pay if you were to buy all of these components individually versus the palette price right now. And the palette is currently on sale, but I don't know how long that discount will be there for. So we're going to start off with swatching the Cosmos palette, and I'm just going to go top to bottom. So these are the four shades here. Now, the halograms are meant to be put on top of a base, usually, to get them a little bit more vibrant. You can see here that Celestial is already pretty vibrant. Here's Cosmos, and you can't really see it here on its own, but I'm going to put it on top of Chocolat Noir so you can see what happens to the pink. This is Starr, which is super sparkly. There is not much of a color base. It's pretty much a transparent base here. So this is going to be more of a topper, but it is a dense sparkle topper. And then Chocolat Noir is this beautiful deep brown. This is actually one of my favorite shadows from Surratt. All right, so let's put up, I meant to put it on top of the bottom one, but I started putting it here. So let's go with that. Now, I don't know if there is something wrong with my Cosmos shadow, but it's not as creamy as the other ones. It does not provide as much of that pink pigment as any of my other halogram shadows. And it's kind of always been that way. I've always struggled a little bit with this pink shade. So I don't know if it's mine in particular or not, but you can see how the pink reacts on top of a deeper base. Now, moving on to the Supernova palette, we're going to start off with Nebula, and you can see that Nebula here and Interstellar, they are super, super creamy. Actually, so is Supernova compared to the pink shade and the others. So here are the four shades in the Supernova palette. And again, these are your halogram shades. This here is the green. Let me do that one again. See how it kind of looks like there's pink in there? It's not because of, you know, me swiping this. This is the actual color of it. You can see that you've got dark green, you've got blue, you've got pink in here. It's kind of like a deeper version of Aurora Borealis. And that's what's special about this shade. So this halogram shade is the only one that is exclusive to the Surratt website. You cannot purchase that at any other retailers. And you can see how different it is than all the others. It's like a multi-chrome halogram. So I want to show you what all of these halogram shades look like on the black matter, or the dark matter rather, because the base, this dark matter, as you can see here, is in a much larger pan size. I believe this is $34 for this size. And when they released the halogram shades, they released a dark matter, which is the black, and then a light matter, which looks like a beige shade. And I did purchase that now. I haven't gotten that out yet. I haven't used it. And, but I want to show you what the dark matter does to these halogram shades. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch all of them. I made a patch of it on my hand here. Okay, so we're going to start off with Celestial. And then this is Cosmos. Let me add another layer here of Cosmos. And here's a second layer of Celestial as well. So you can see how vibrant that is. Now here is Nebula. You can see how much more vibrant just one layer of Nebula is compared to the Cosmos. Here's a second layer of it. You can just see that a little bit better. Look at those shades. Here is Interstellar. You can see that silver shade. It looks more white when you don't put it on the base, and then when you put it on the dark matter, you get like a true silver shade there. Look at that. Okay, so I extended the black base on my hand so we can add in Supernova. Look at that one layer of Supernova. So here are all of the halogram shades. And you can see what happens adding them on a dark base. These are incredible. Now, aside from Cosmos, which is a little bit drier than all of my other halogram shades, and by the way, I do have all of them, they are all super creamy. I mean, look at this. You can see how soft they are. And they're so vibrant. They're beautiful. They're shimmery. They, you know, again, on a lighter base, they're going to have more of a pastel look, and on a darker base, they're going to be more vibrant like this. I personally prefer to use them more on the deeper bases, but I absolutely love these. Now, one thing I did want to know is that with Surratt shadows, I don't typically have any issues with creasing or performance or anything like that. However, the halograms being a softer shadow, I do have creasing with halogram shadows. So after about half a day or so, you know, I do have creasing and it starts to migrate down the lid. So I do want to note that even with a primer, I have that issue. Now, I have not tried like glitter glue or, you know, putting a setting spray or anything like that on top. So, you know, that might help promote longevity with those. Now, as for my thoughts on these palettes, the first palette, Cosmos, you know, I think it's a very nice collection of colors. And if you don't have any of these shades already, it may be worth getting. In particular, you know, I'm not thrilled with the Cosmos shade. And again, it might be an issue with my particular eyeshadow pan, but the other three shades in here are some of my favorites. I use Starr quite a bit. This Celestial shade, this was my first time using it. I love it though, and it's so pigmented even on its own, so it's definitely one that I would recommend. Chocolat Noir is one of my most used Surratt shadows. I really love that shade. So if you don't already have those shades, it may be worth investing in this palette. The Cosmos, you know, I think it's a beautiful color. It's just a little bit lighter and not quite as vibrant on the darker base as I would like. And again, that's right there. So you can see it's just, you know, I would prefer it to be a bit more bright. Now onto the Supernova palette, which are these four here. Again, if you don't have any of these, I would recommend picking up this palette. Between the two, I personally prefer the Supernova. I think all of these perform really well. They work well on top or alone for the base. Plus, as I mentioned before, these hologram shadows are a bit more expensive than the regular shadows. So getting 3 of these and 1 regular shadow, yeah, that's kind of a good deal there. So again, I'll have the price comparison listed down below. This Supernova shade though, I just think is so incredibly special. I really love it. And I love it paired, you know, on top of the base like it is here, where you can see more green. But if you use it on its own, you get some of those other colors in there as well. And I just think it's really, really gorgeous. In summation, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these palettes. Surratt shadows are really some of the best out there, in my opinion. I really love them. The holograms, again, do not hold up as well as traditional Surratt shadows. However, I think there's something special about them. And even now that we're seeing like so many duochromes and multichromes and so forth coming out, these are not the same. I mean, again, the Supernova is kind of like a multichrome, but these are really more of a transformative shadow that, you know, étoiles is a good word for it. I mean, look at the amount of shimmer here. These are more of an elevated shimmer shadow compared to like what you would expect from a duochrome or multichrome shade. And they're very flexible because they look so different depending on what color you put them over. And again, these are on a dark base, but you can put these on top of, you know, a different shade too. It doesn't have to be on top of black, you know, put it on top of like a deeper blue or on a lighter shade, and you get some transformative qualities from these. So I think that's one of the things that make the hologram shadows a little bit more unique and special to other things that may appear at first glance to be very similar on the market. But I do think that these are different and unique, and I personally really enjoy them. So if you haven't tried them already, I would definitely recommend picking one up at some point, whether you decide to pick up a whole palette or if you decide to pick up just one particular shadow to try. I'm going to share the looks I created for each of these palettes with you. So I have one for the Supernova palette. I have 2 for Cosmos. Again, the one that I'm going to show you first didn't turn out to be something that I personally really liked, but it does really give you a great idea of how the shadows perform. So I'm going to share those with you just for reference. The hologram shadows, aside from Cosmos, they are all super, super creamy. They go on well with finger or with brush. And the Cosmos one, and again, it may just be my particular shadow, that one's a little bit drier. It's a little bit firmer and harder to pick up the pigment. So with that one, I actually find that it performs better with a firmer brush. So you're looking for something, you know, that's more of a flat brush that you can kind of pack pigment on. You don't want something fluffy, is what I'm saying. And again, because these hologram shades are on the creamier side, I would definitely recommend going with something that is either an undyed natural hair or a synthetic brush with the creamier ones, just because you can see in the demos how incredibly creamy these are on the brushes. So they are almost an actual cream shadow. So just something to note there. And I'm going to share the looks with you, and I will see you at the end. So I have the Viseart eye primer on. We're gonna go into the black shade. This is actually the Dark Matter from Surratt. I'm using the Synergy Builder Pro, and I'm just gonna get a little bit of this on the outside here. And then just gonna spread a little bit into the crease, and it's messy. Next, I'm taking the Synergy Crease Pro, and I'm just going to kind of buff this crease area, soften that up a bit. I'm actually going to take a little bit more of the black, and I'm just going to pat it on gently on the rest of the mobile lid here. Next, I'm going to take the Esom W21. I'm going to go into Nebula, the blue shade. I'm going to put this on the inner half of the lid. And you can see how creamy these shadows are. They're almost wet. So this is a sable hair brush. And you can see what the dark base does to this shadow. It just allows the blue to really pop. Wiping off the brush, I'm now going to go into Supernova. This one is exclusive to the Surratt website. And again, it's another one of this like creamy formula. Look at that. You can see this is new. I have never tried this before. So let's see what this looks like. Ooh, I love this green. Look at that. That's a beautiful, beautiful color, and it blends so nicely with Nebula. Going in with the Crease Pro into the white shade. What is this one? This is Interstellar. And you can see this is another new shade that I haven't used before. And again, it's one of the creamier formulas. So we're gonna put this in the crease, add a little sparkle here. And I'm going up to the brow. Just getting a little bit more on the tip here, and I'm going to put this right here in the inner corner. It's going to be it for the upper lid, and then on the lower lash line, I'm taking the tip of the Esom brush into Nebula. So just got some of that there. I'm going to put this on the lower lash line. You can see how different it looks without having that black base. But I don't want anything dark and heavy here. And I'm just going to take a little bit of Supernova and add it to the outer portion here. And this is going to be my eye look. I'm going to add some black pencil to the top. You could also use the dark matter, and then that's it. This is the eye look from a distance. So I have finished my makeup. I have the Gucci bronzer in Fair on, as well as the new Sisley blush in Coral, as well as the Sisley highlighter, which is number 6 shimmer. And you can see how beautifully they go together. I actually have the shimmer blended on top there. On my lips, I have the Chantecaille Lip Chic in Peach Blossom, topped with the Chanel Rouge Coco gloss in 722. Just to kind of tone that down a little bit, tone down a little of the peachiness. This is more of a nude gloss with a little, a little rosiness to it. And it works perfectly to kind of just tone down some of that oranginess in the Peach Blossom. I have the Tom Ford eye primer on. I'm using the Rephr 15. I'm going to go into Chocolat Noir. And I'm going to add this to the outer corner and the crease. So you can see that I'm kind of buffing this out so it's more sheer in the crease area. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this and just kind of put this on the outer half of the eye as well. Taking a little dab of the Chocolat Noir, and I'm going to put that in the inner portion here as well. So I wiped off the brush, and now I'm just kind of softly blending the edges here. Next, I'm going to take the Esom W23, which looks like this, into this Starr shade. I'm going to put this in the middle. So this is going to go right in between those shades. You can see that this is a pretty sheer, kind of like a golden toppery shade. So here, I was thinking it was more pigmented than it is. So we're going to go over that actually with something else. I'm taking the same brush and I'm going to go into Celestial. This is one of the halogram shadows, so you can see how creamy that is. And this one has a gold shade. This is new to me. I haven't used this one before, but I'm putting this in the inner corner. And that's why I want it to go in with the brown there, because having the dark base really makes that shade pop. Wiping off the brush, I'm going to use the same one in the Cosmos shade. And again, it's another halogram. It is very creamy, and you can see there. So I have plenty of pigment on, and this is going over the rest of the eye here. And I'm actually going to do some of this with my finger. Let's see how the finger does with this. I actually like it better with the brush, so I'm gonna go ahead and add more with the brush here. And I have to say my Cosmos shade, you know, it is older, so maybe that's why, but it's not as creamy as the Celestial one or the other ones that I used, the other shade. The Supernova and Nebula is what I'm thinking of. Oh, and Interstellar. So I actually think I should have reversed these and done the gold and then the pink on the inner corner, because the pink is just not as vibrant. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off this look though. So I wiped off the brush and I'm just gonna kind of feather the Celestial and Cosmos shade together. Now I'm gonna take the same brush with the Starr shade and I'm gonna go and put this on top of the Cosmos so we have a little gold sparkle everywhere. Taking the Refer 15, and again, I did wipe that off, but I'm getting a little bit of the Starr shade on here, and I'm just gonna kind of buff this into the crease very gently. I'm gonna take the Refer 03 into the Chocolat Noir for the lash line. I'm gonna do the upper lash line, and then whatever's left on the brush is gonna go onto the lower lash line. I wiped off the 03. I'm gonna go into the Celestial Gold shade and I'm going to run this on top on the upper lash line. Again, you can see how creamy this shadow is. So this is my look with the Cosmos palette, and I don't like this look at all. So I'm going to wash this off and we'll do another one real quickly. All right, so you can see I still have some residual sparkle here, but you know, oh well. So we're gonna go ahead, taking the Refer 01, I'm going into Chocolat Noir this time, and we're gonna do the same part on the, you know, the outer corner here, this outer portion. But I'm just gonna go in lighter and softer and then buff the rest of that kind of in the crease. So much less pigment this time. All right, and now I'm gonna go into the Cosmos shade, and I'm using the Esom W23, and I'm gonna put this on the inner corner, the inner like third essentially. So you can see the pink there. Now I'm gonna take the same brush, I wiped it off, I'm gonna go into Celestial. I'm gonna put this over the rest of the lid. Got a little bit more of the Cosmos pink shade here to the inner portion, and just kind of tapping over the edges here where it meets Celestial. And then I'm just taking that Refer 01 with no additional shadow, just gonna blend this crease area. And I'm taking the Refer 23, I'm gonna go into Starr. I'm just twirling my brush in here a little bit, and I'm just gonna add this to the inner corner, and that's it. And I'm going back with the Refer 23 into the Chocolat Noir, and I'm going to add a little bit of this to the upper and lower lash line. I wiped off the brush, and I'm just going to kind of extend what I put on the outer half of the lower lash line inwards. And again, this brush has been wiped off. I'm just kind of feathering out the upper lash line a little bit. And that's going to be it for this look, and I will see you. I hope that was helpful. I did already share my opinions on these palettes prior to the looks, but in summation, I really do enjoy both of the palettes. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. If I personally had to pick one, I of course would go with Supernova. Those are the colors I gravitate towards. And again, you know, just you can see how special this Supernova shade is on its own, and how vibrant, you know, the Nebula and Interstellar are as well. So I think they are both fantastic palettes though, but if I had to pick one, I'd go with Supernova. I hope this was helpful so you could see what these palettes look like. And thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up sign if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe. The button's right down below. And I will see you very soon. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy.